NASSCO's mission to set standards for the assessment, maintenance, and rehabilitation of underground infrastructure covers a lot of ground. But we still sometimes hear the question, what's NASSCO doing for me? So we want to take a few minutes to provide a retrospective of NASSCO accomplishments over the years and review the progress made in the last 12 months. In the 1990s, NASSCO worked closely with the EPA to prevent a proposed ban of acrylamide grout. Fully supported by contractor, supplier, and professional members of NASSCO, the issue was finally resolved in 2002. But getting there wasn't easy. Costing hundreds of thousands of dollars, NASSCO member Avanti International helped cover the cost, and, as a result of the proposed ban, NASSCO's ICGA division prepared an in-depth safety program for the use of grouts. The early 2000s were a busy time for NASSCO. In 2003, a CCTV manufacturer's attempt to get government regulations revised for explosion-proof cameras in a sanitary sewer environment was resolved, thanks to the unification and determination of our members to do what's right. All CCTV manufacturers, with the exception of one, came together and financially supported the cause. If not addressed, the proposed revision would have cost contractors up to $100 million. CUES also contributed a well-documented engineering report on Class 1, Division 1 matters, which was especially helpful. In the late 2000s, our industry faced yet another hurdle: proposed changes to OSHA confined space entry regulations. If reclassified to new construction, routine maintenance jobs would have meant additional job site requirements costing the industry roughly $7.5 million per year. Through its Health and Safety Committee, NASSCO testified at congressional hearings to request that OSHA classify rehabilitation work as maintenance. We were successful. In 2011, the National Toxicology Program of Health and Human Services listed styrene as a potential carcinogen. With hours contributed by our CIPP committee, NASSCO worked with the styrene industry to request a government review of the science behind the findings. Ultimately, a congressional committee authorized the funding of a study by the National Academy of Science. Which brings us to today. NASSCO is working with institutions of higher learning to conduct a formal review of all published reports and articles on CIPP emissions. The initiative will include additional sampling and analysis of emissions during the field installation of CIPP using the steam cure process. The results will be honored and action steps possibly taken to best support our communities. We are all busy, and our day-to-day work can sometimes prevent us from keeping up with the latest laws and federal funding of underground infrastructure. To ensure we have a strong, united voice, NASSCO is working on your behalf to stay informed on the ever-changing budgetary climate in Washington, D.C. In addition to these major initiatives, over the years, NASSCO has trained thousands of inspectors and has issued 20,000-plus PACP certifications. Currently, NASSCO issues 3,000 to 3,500 PACP certifications annually. What does that mean? It means that more and more data is being coded properly, and pipes are inspected with integrity to help system owners manage their assets well. NASSCO has also developed 12 specification guidelines and a variety of technical resources, including the Jetter Code of Practice, Trenchless Assessment Guide for Rehabilitation, Manual of Practice, and more. How does all of this work get done? Primarily through our dynamic and active committees, comprised of members who are willing to give their time and talents back to their industry. In 2017, NASSCO's Asset Management Committee developed the plan to upgrade TAG-R, provided input to the updated Manual of Practice, and provided peer review of the Certification of Training and Asset Management Program. The past year was also a big one for our Government Relations Committee. It developed partnerships with WEF, NUCA, and other organizations, provided input on the White House's legislative agenda, and worked with consultants to make sure NASSCO's voice is heard in Washington. Our Health and Safety Committee, with the help of Jack Doheny Companies, helped bring an interactive confined space safety exhibit to life at the Rehab Zone and worked throughout the year to keep health and safety front and center. The Infrastructure Assessment Committee was busy helping update PACP 7.0.3 and adding atypical structure updates to MACP. It also drafted cross-bore guidelines and reviewed sections of the Manual of Practice. Translating PACP version 7.0.3 to Spanish kept the International Relations Committee busy. But in between, Luis Leon presented at the International No-Dig Conference in Medellin, Colombia, and Diego Calderon trained a PACP certification class there as well. This committee is instrumental in expanding PACP throughout the Americas. NASSCO's Lateral Rehab Committee made presentations at conferences throughout the year, including UCT, Arizona Water, and more. It also contributed to the updated Manual of Practice and published lateral rehab specifications. The members of this committee also provided feedback on the ITCP CIPP version 4 beta class and so much more. Manhole Committee members extended outreach through preparing a presentation for WET 2018 and completing one at UCT earlier this year. Along with other committees, they also worked on revisions to the Manual of Practice, supported the Rehab Zone, and increased visibility of MACP. The Membership and Marketing Committee continued to see awareness of NASSCO grow through the publication of articles and press releases throughout the year. In fact, if we were to pay for the amount of editorial we received, the value would be pushing $700,000 annually. Last year, the O&M Committee began working on updates to the Jetter Code of Practice, formed a work group on bypass pumping guidelines, and developed large diameter guidelines, which included completion of a capabilities chart and decision matrix. NASSCO's Pipe Rehab Committee also provided input to the updated Manual of Practice, revised the styrene white paper, and helped create a CIPP workgroup to address information and articles addressing safety issues concerning styrenated resins. The Pressure Pipe Committee developed and presented a webinar on pressure pipe rehabilitation and provided a track focusing on pressure pipe for UCT. Seeing the need to focus specifically on rehab and condition assessment, this committee developed 2 subcommittees to focus on those subjects respectively. The 2018 Rehab Zone was bigger and better than ever before, thanks to the hard work of this committee in 2017. The exhibit included updated technical information, user-friendly components, and attention to detail to make sure visitors left with a new understanding of trenchless technologies. Our future is in the hands of young professionals, and NASSCO's Scholarship and Charitable Donations Committee worked hard in 2017 through the legal review of scholarship practices, developing clear outlines and guidelines for each of our current scholarships, and planning and making recommendations for expansion of the program. With big plans for 2018, including the development of a vendor certification workgroup designed to increase involvement of software vendors, NASSCO's Software Committee developed and presented a WEF webcast designed to help optimize PACP. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Most of our committees also contributed editorial content for publications in trade magazines throughout the year. We are always grateful for our partnerships with Municipal Sewer and Water, Trenchless Technology, Underground Construction, and WE&T magazines, as well as WEF member publications. Our committees all have aggressive goals for 2018, and we welcome your participation and encourage you to learn more about ways you can contribute and benefit from your involvement in one or more NASSCO committees. While the past 12 months brought much hard work and times to remember, it also brought us times to never forget. In 2017, we lost some of the industry's most respected leaders and NASSCO's greatest allies and friends. Founding NASSCO member, former NASSCO board president, and visu-sewer founder Ernie Alexander left us on February 15, 2017. Ernie was also a member of NASSCO's Select Society of Sanitary Sewer Sleuths, an honor given to him unanimously by his peers. Daniel Alfred Van Dam passed on December 9th at the age of 75. A proud NASSCO member, Daniel was the owner and operator of D.A. Van Dam and Associates, a contractor organization located in Hubbard, Ohio. Late last year, Roy Herwig also passed at the age of 75. Known by some as the father of CMOM, Roy served our industry through his time with the EPA. His many contributions aligned with NASSCO's mission to set standards for safer communities. Early this year, we lost another industry icon, Mr. Jack Doheny. Jack pioneered the first sewer cleaners and eventually grew his company, Jack Doheny Companies, to provide quality cleaning equipment across the United States and Canada. Jack was also identified as a NASSCO standard bearer for his many years of service to our industry. May we never forget these amazing people and the contributions and sacrifices they gave to help our industry, and specifically to support NASSCO in achieving its mission to set standards for the assessment, maintenance, and rehabilitation of underground infrastructure, and to assure the continued acceptance and growth of trenchless technologies.